Hi there, my name is Caitlin Bandy and this is my channel BandysBooks. So today we're going to be starting a new series for my channel and it's called What's on My Netgalley Shelf. And this is going to be kind of a monthly update where I tell you how many books I have waiting for feedback on Netgalley, how many I've actually read but I haven't written the reviews out for, and then I tell you about 5 books that are on my Netgalley shelf that I haven't read yet but I'm very much looking forward to. I'm hoping that this video will do 2 things for me. One, I'm hoping it'll keep me a little bit more accountable to my Netgalley because I don't want to be coming back here every single month with a huge pile of books that I haven't read. And I do think it'll also be a really fun opportunity for me to talk about books that are going to be releasing soon. So I do already do 2 new release videos each month. One is my book of the month predictions, and that tends to be books that are receiving good feedback, are already by authors that are a little more well-known because that's typically who book of the month is going to be picking. And then I have a new release video that I publish on the last day of the month, which covers some new releases that I'm really excited about in the upcoming month. But there are so many new releases coming out, and I try not to make my new release video an hour long. I try to limit it to like 10 new releases just to keep it manageable. So I think this might be a good opportunity for me to talk about some of the other books that are releasing that I'm excited about, but that just didn't make it into either of those videos. So before we get into talking about specific books, I want to give you kind of a general feel for what's going on my Netgalley shelf. I currently have 71 books that are awaiting feedback on my Netgalley shelf. Of those books, 6 are audiobooks and 65 are ebooks. Of those 65 ebooks, I have 12 that are cookbooks. It's really interesting because I don't read a lot of cookbooks in real life, but I have found that there are quite a few cookbooks that are soliciting feedback on Netgalley, and as a professional chef, I find it really interesting to see what people are doing with their cookbooks. Not that I necessarily will buy a cookbook and use it at home for recipes, but more looking at it from a critical aspect and reading the recipes and seeing if they make sense, figuring out if the cookbook is geared towards more of a professional style or somebody who's an amateur at home cook. It's been a lot of fun and I've been getting to learn about a lot of different chefs this way. Also, a kind of fun story in terms of the cookbooks, I recently found a cookbook ARC request on Netgalley for a chef here in Las Vegas that's somebody I don't know in person but have had a lot of online interactions with because we have a mutual friend in the culinary world here. So I of course requested an ARC of her new cookbook and I will be reviewing it very thoroughly. So that was fun, just kind of seeing somebody who's an acquaintance. So now before you panic and say, Caitlin, holy shit, 71 books awaiting feedback, just know that of those 71 books, 16 of them are books that I have already read and I just need to sit down and type out the reviews. So typically either Monday or Tuesday, I usually spend a couple hours catching up my reviews. So I'll usually knock out 10 reviews and 10 reviews if I can. So the number 71 will be cut down to 55, 54 relatively soon. Now into the 5 books that I'm most excited about on my Netgalley shelf at the moment. The first book I want to talk about is Lillith by Nikki Marmery. This is publishing October 17th and it's by Alcove Press. And this book is described as being a feminist retelling of the creation myth of Lilith. Before Eve, there is Lilith. She and Adam are equal until Adam decides that she should lie beneath him. She refuses and is banished from the Garden of Eden. This sets Lilith on a quest for revenge and to rebalance the world. This sounds really interesting to me. I have seen a lot of different mythology revisited and retold. A lot of Greek mythology, Norse mythology, and Yoruban mythology. So I think this is really interesting to get into biblical mythology. And I don't know a whole ton about biblical stories. I know the general outline of what this is about, but I don't know it in any great detail. So I think it's going to be really interesting. The next book that I'm excited about is Mammoths at the Gate by Nghi. This publishes September 12th by Tor.com, and this is book 4 in the Singing Hills cycle. The wandering cleric Chi returns home to the Singing Hills Abbey for the first time in 3 years. The return is bittersweet because their mentor, Cleric Thien, has died, and not everyone is prepared to leave them to their rest. I have read the 3 previous books in this series and enjoyed them very much. I enjoy this series because they're kind of more like novellas. They're very short reads, they're easy to follow, characters are interesting. Nghi is such a beautiful writer. The description, everything is very evocative, and it's just an enjoyable read overall. Book number 3 is The House of Doors by Tan Eng. While this book has already been published in some countries, it's publishing in October 17th here in the US by Bloomsbury, USA. So this book is already receiving a lot of hype. It's been longlisted for the 2023 Booker Prize, and I actually received my ARC copy of this before the Booker Prize announcement. I think I got this ARC like 2 months ago, and I've been meaning to get to it, but it's just kind of keeps getting pushed back. So I am hoping to read it really, really soon. In 1921, Leslie Hamlin and her husband Robert are living in the Castlereagh house on the Strait settlement of Penang. When Willie Somerset Maugham, a famed writer and an old friend of Robert's, arrives with his secretary Gerald, the pair threatens a rift that could alter more lives than one. So I have not previously read Eng's writing, but I know that one of their other books was longlisted for the Booker Prize, and I have heard that they're a remarkably good writer. This is actually why I jumped at this ARC when I had an opportunity to get it, was because I had heard of this author before and how amazing their work was. So I'm really looking forward to delving into this. I'm very interested in the era it's set in, the place it's set in. Hello. You woke me up, you must give me pets. You woke me up, you must give me pets. And then we have What the River Knows by Isabel Ibañez. This publishes October 31st by St. Martin's Press. Bolivian-Argentinian Inez belongs to the 19th century Buenos Aires upper crust, a town of old magic that has long since been forgotten. When she receives word that her globetrotting parents have tragically died, she inherits their fortune and a mysterious guardian, an archaeologist in partnership with his Egyptian brother-in-law. It sets Inez on a trip to Cairo, where she finds out that there is more to her parents' death than she imagined. This book is set to be the first book in the Secrets of the Nile duology. So I have read Ibañez's writing previously, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't necessarily the most serious, like deep, really thematic writing. It was more like fantasy and fun and adventure, and I'm totally okay with that. I love a good adventurous fantasy. One of the things that I love about her writing in particular is that it is usually set in South America, and she really likes to explore Latino cultures. In particular, I believe her family is from Bolivia, and so I know that her first duology explored Bolivian culture and was set in Bolivia. This one looks to explore both Argentinian and Bolivian culture while being set in Cairo, so that's exciting. And I think the book that I read previously was set in a fictional country that was kind of representative of Spain. So I really enjoy the diversity in her book settings and the fantasy worlds that she creates. I think that this will be a fun duology. If you're into fantasy, this might be a fun pick. And my fifth book is going to be Everything Is Not Enough, and that's by Lola Akinmade Akerstrom. This publishes October 24th by William Morrow. So this is the author that wrote In Every Mirror She's Black. So I enjoyed that book quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to do in this one. This book follows three Black women, Kemi, Brittany, and Yasmin, as they fight their personal struggles in Sweden. This interrogates themes of place prejudice and patriarchy in Europe. So I noticed that this is similar in format to In Every Mirror She's Black, because we have multiple different characters with different things going on, and somehow their stories are going to kind of weave together. So I'm curious to see how this is going to be different, what this author is going to do with these different women, what themes she's going to explore, how she's going to explore them. I think that this could potentially be a really good read. And since I have so many cookbooks on my shelf right now, I thought I would tell you about one of my favorites at the moment. I'm in the process of reading through it to review it, and that is Pasta for All Seasons by Michele Tartaglia. This is a book that I would not recommend for an amateur cook. This is more the type of book that I as a chef will drool over and then will try to source all sorts of ridiculous ingredients to cook all the recipes. For the home cook, I see this more being like a beautiful book to put on your display shelf or like on your coffee table. So the recipes in this are straightforward enough, like they're easy enough to follow. What's complex about it is that this is a book that is about pasta, and it's geared towards ingredients in the Pacific Northwest. So it's very specialized. There are things that you're not really gonna find easily anywhere else. So for example, there is a recipe that uses fiddleheads. Fiddleheads are a part of a fern. You can get them up in the Pacific Northwest, but like here in Las Vegas, no such luck. If I wanted to get them and try to make this recipe, I would have to special order them from somebody in the Pacific Northwest and spend a lot of money to do so, ship them here like rush to keep them fresh, and then like cook them right away upon reception. So it's just, the recipes are a little inaccessible, but the photography in the book is spectacular. The recipes are super cool and creative. Like if you're a food geek and you just want to read about how to use really cool, interesting ingredients, or learn about really cool, interesting ingredients in a specific area, this is a very interesting book for that. Again, not the most accessible book for somebody that's a home cook, but definitely a really cool book to have on your shelves. One that I may actually end up purchasing to add to my cookbook collection, and it may actually encourage me to special order some random ingredients from the Pacific Northwest so that I can try things, because there's so much that sounds good in it. But if you do go into this cookbook, just know this is for a more advanced cook, and it will require special ordering ingredients. Otherwise, just read it and enjoy. So that's the end of this video. You now know what is on my Netgalley shelf. I hope this was interesting to you. I am going to be posting this video somewhere around mid-month every single month, just with an update of how many books I have, how much feedback I've given, and the books that are most exciting to me at that time. So that being said, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up and comment down below. Let me know how you feel about Netgalley. Do you use it? Is it something you're interested in using? Is it something that you've hesitated to join because you're afraid you're gonna request 100 books like I have? And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button down below, as well as the notification bell so that we never miss a video. And that way we can see each other again soon. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.